At 9:47 a.m. Pacific Time on June 9, 2016, Pedro Kanahawati opens an email in his office at One Hacker Way, Menlo Park. The email is 3 paragraphs long. It is signed by his chief executive. Kanahawati is the head of security engineering at Facebook. He has been in the job for 4 years. He reads it twice. He highlights nothing. He takes no notes. Then he writes a reply, 6 lines, and sends it back up the chain. He thinks the project is over before it has begun. The operation will run for 3 years. 41 lawyers will sign off on it. It will reach into the phones of teenagers in 5 countries. And Pedro Kanahawati's 6-line objection, the one he believes is the end of the matter, will sit inside a sealed court file in San Francisco for 8 years, waiting for somebody to unseal it. This is the story of 2 operations that ran in parallel for 3 years inside one of the most powerful companies in the world. The first was called Project Ghostbusters. It used a virtual private network, software that millions of people install to protect their privacy, to do the exact opposite. It read the encrypted traffic of Snapchat, then YouTube, then Amazon. It ran on servers in Israel. It was approved at the highest levels of the company. The second was called Project Atlas. It paid teenagers, some as young as 13, $20 a month, to give up everything on their phones. Text messages, photos, location updated in real time. Private messages with people who had never agreed to be watched. We are going to follow this story from a small office in Tel Aviv to a court in San Francisco. We will meet the engineers who tried to stop it from the inside. We will meet the researcher who cracked it open from the outside. And we will look at what happens when the man in the middle is not a stranger in a hoodie at a library. He is the company you trusted. To understand how this happened, we have to go back to a different problem. In 2010, in a small office in Tel Aviv, 2 engineers named Guy Rosen and Roy Tiger were trying to make mobile data cheaper. Anywhere in the world, and especially in the United States, a monthly cellular plan in 2010 often cost more than the phone itself. Rosen and Tiger built software that compresses internet traffic before it reaches the device. They called the company Onavo. In 2012, they released a free app called Onavo Count. It showed users, for the first time, exactly how much data each application on their phone was consuming. To do that, all traffic from the phone had to be routed through Onavo's servers. The app was useful, it was small, it was honest about what it did. But the company was sitting on something more valuable than any of its software. It was sitting on a map that showed every minute of every day how every smartphone in the world was being used. In 2013, a company in Menlo Park notices. By then, Facebook is in trouble. The largest social network in the world has just completed the largest tech initial public offering in American history, and it is already losing its grip on the future. Photos are moving to Instagram, messaging is moving to WhatsApp. And in California, 2 Stanford students launched an app called Snapchat, where photos disappear, the audience is small, and adults are not invited. Facebook tries to copy it. The app is called Poke. It launches in December 2012. It fails within weeks. Zuckerberg offers Instagram $1 billion and buys it. He offers Snapchat $3 billion and is turned down. He needs something the others do not have. He needs to see inside their apps. On October 13th, 2013, Facebook acquired Onavo for $120 million. The official announcement focuses on the company's data-saving products. The press is told that Onavo will help Facebook improve the experience of users in emerging markets where bandwidth is expensive. This is true. It is also not the reason for the acquisition. What Facebook is buying for $120 million is the map. The Onavo apps Extend, Count, and a new product called Onavo Protect, a virtual private network released a few months before the deal, route every byte of traffic from every installed phone through Onavo's servers in Tel Aviv. Facebook now owns those servers. The first piece of data the new owners look at is messaging. Onavo data show that 99% of Android phones in Spain have WhatsApp installed. In the United States, more mobile messages are being sent through WhatsApp than through Facebook itself. In February 2014, Facebook bought WhatsApp for $19 billion. It is the largest acquisition in the history of consumer technology. Public observers are stunned by the number. Inside Facebook, the number is the cheap part. The expensive thing, the irreplaceable thing, is the map that told them to make the offer. A senior Facebook product strategist will later describe the new internal philosophy in 3 words: copy, acquire, kill. But by 2015, the map has a problem. The internet is going dark. A year before Facebook bought Onavo, Edward Snowden walked out of an NSA contractor's office in Hawaii with a hard drive full of documents. By 2014, the consequences are still spreading. Apple is encrypting iPhones by default. Google is rolling out HTTPS across its services. Every major app, including Snapchat, is beginning to encrypt the traffic between its software and its servers. When traffic is encrypted, even the company that owns the network it travels across cannot read it. Onavo's servers can still see that a message has been sent. They can no longer see what it says. By the spring of 2016, Snapchat is the fastest growing social application on the planet. Inside Facebook, every internal report on Snapchat ends with the same line. They say we have no analytics. On June 9, 2016, Mark Zuckerberg writes an email to 3 senior executives at the company. The exact text will not become public for almost 8 years. In the email he wrote that whenever someone asks a question about Snapchat, the answer is usually that because their traffic is encrypted, we have no analytics about them. Given how quickly they are growing, it seems important to figure out a new way to get reliable analytics about them. Perhaps we need to do panels or write custom software. The Onavo team in Tel Aviv receives the assignment within hours. They take a few weeks, then they propose something, and in an internal document, they write the phrase themselves. This is a man-in-the-middle approach. Here is what they build. When a user installs Onavo Protect on their phone, the app, promoted publicly as a free VPN that keeps users safe, asks the user for a small additional permission. It asks for permission to install a trusted root certificate. Most users have no idea what this is. The phone tells them, in a soft white screen, that their privacy is a top priority. They tap Accept. What the user has just done is hand Onavo a master key. From that moment on, the phone trusts Onavo to vouch for any other server on the internet. Onavo can now stand between the user's Snapchat app and Snapchat's real servers, pretend to be Snapchat, decrypt the traffic, read it, and then re-encrypt it and pass it along. To the user, nothing looks different. To Onavo, Everything looks open. Inside Facebook, the team gives the operation a name: Project Ghostbusters. The reference is to Snapchat's logo, a small white ghost. The kit is finished in the summer of 2016. It is deployed to Onavo Protect users without explanation. Then it is expanded, first to YouTube, then to Amazon. Every byte that passes through is captured on Facebook servers in Menlo Park. Snapchat's growth begins to slow. Inside Facebook, not everybody is comfortable with what has been built. The man at the top of the security organization, Pedro Kanahwati, has been at the company since 2012. He runs a team whose job is to protect Facebook's users from exactly this kind of attack. He has written internal manuals warning engineers to never trust a network they do not control. He has trained new hires that the entire reason virtual private networks exist is to defend ordinary people against the technique Onavo has now built into one of its products. He writes back to the email chain, "I can't think of a good argument for why this is okay. No security person is ever comfortable with this, no matter what consent we get from the general public. The general public just doesn't know how this stuff works." The head of infrastructure engineering, Jay Parikh, agrees with him. He sends his own reply. The objection is read. It is filed. Then it is moved aside. 41 lawyers from Facebook's legal department review Project Ghostbusters over the months that follow. The exact form of their approval is still partly redacted. What is known is that the project moves forward. Pedro Kanahwati's email is folded into a binder of internal correspondence. The binder is given the classification it will keep for the next 8 years. Confidential, subject to protective order. For the next 3 years, every time Project Ghostbusters faces a new technical obstacle, Snapchat tightening its encryption, Apple updating its operating system, a young researcher in Australia publishing a quiet blog post about strange behavior on a Facebook app, the project finds a new way through. In 2017, internal documents will later show that engineers at Facebook even consider exploiting Android features designed to support users with disabilities in order to keep the pipeline open. The project is no longer trying to study Snapchat. By 2017, the project is studying everyone, and the people Facebook has decided to study most closely are the ones least equipped to understand what is happening to them. The internal name for the next phase is Project Atlas. It begins in 2016, alongside Project Ghostbusters, but it moves more carefully because the people it targets are protected by laws. Facebook does not want to test directly. The strategy is simple. Adolescents are the first to adopt every new application that threatens Facebook. So Facebook pays them to install spyware, and it hides its own name from the offer. Facebook hires 3 intermediary companies, Applause, BetaBound, and UTest, to run the recruitment. The companies place ads on Instagram and Snapchat that say nothing about Facebook. They invite young people aged 13 to 35 to participate in a paid social media research study. The payment is $20 a month, plus a bonus for every friend they bring in. When a user signs up, they are guided through a long technical installation. They are told to install the Facebook Research app. Inside Apple's system, the app cannot be distributed through the App Store because Apple has banned this kind of access. So, Facebook routes the installation through Apple's Enterprise Developer Program, a system designed for companies to distribute internal software to their own employees. Facebook is not the user's employer. Facebook tells the user to ignore the warning. Once the app is installed, Facebook can see everything. Private messages on every app the user has installed, photos sent to other people, videos, browsing history, search queries, email contents, and real-time location updated continuously. The participants are told in the contract that they cannot speak publicly about the program. The contract includes the threat of legal action. TechCrunch reported that 18% of the people enrolled were minors. On a small subreddit called Beer Money, a few users noticed that the app is asking for unusually deep access. One of them, claiming to be 40 years old, posts a single line saying it is quite obviously some shady shit. He installs it on a junk phone he no longer uses, takes the $20, and walks away. Most of the teenagers do not have a second phone. The phone Facebook is reading is the one they take to school. It is the one their messages with friends live on. It is the one they hold under the covers at 1 in the morning. The handful of teen participants later interviewed by Slate say the same thing in different words. They knew it was a Facebook research study of some kind. They did not know Facebook could see everything they typed. They were paid in Amazon gift cards. The largest sum any of them remembered receiving was $60. The Facebook research app collects data through the same servers in the same data center as Onavo Protect. The IP address is identical. The code is, in places, copied line for line. This is a man-in-the-middle approach. By 2018, it is targeting children. In a house in New Jersey, in the second week of January 2019, a 31-year-old security researcher named Will Strafak sits down at his kitchen table with his laptop and a freshly installed copy of the Facebook research app on a test iPhone. Strafak is not a journalist. He is a former iOS jailbreaker who once went by the handle Chronic. He runs a small security firm called Sudo. He has been hired by a reporter at TechCrunch, Josh Constein, to look at what this Facebook research app actually does. He has done this kind of analysis hundreds of times. This one feels different from the start. The app demands root access to the device. It asks the user to install a trusted certificate. It opens a tunnel out of the phone and routes every byte of data through a private set of servers. The technique is familiar. Strafak has seen it before. He saw it the previous year when he was analyzing Onavo Protect, the app that Apple had just thrown out of its store. He runs a network trace. The packets leaving the test iPhone are not going to a generic research server. They are going to an IP address. He copies it into a separate window. He runs it against his archive. The match comes back in less than a second. It is the same server. For a moment, he does not move. The kitchen is quiet. The phone on the table is still showing him the loading screen of an app that is supposed to be brand new. The address on his screen is one he has been looking at for the last 12 months, in a different file, attached to a different company name, advertised under a different promise. He thinks about the timeline. He thinks about Apple's announcement from the previous August. He thinks about every public assurance Facebook has made since. This is a man-in-the-middle approach. The app Apple thought it had killed has been running in a slightly different costume the entire time. He picks up his phone and calls Josh Constein. On January 29th, 2019, at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, TechCrunch publishes. What happens next happens in hours. By the next morning, Facebook has announced that it will pull the iOS version of the research app. It is too late. At 1 p.m. Pacific Time on January 30th, 2019, Apple revokes Facebook's Enterprise Developer Certificate. Every internal app at Facebook stops working at the same moment. The transportation app the engineers use to schedule rides between buildings goes dark. The food app for the company cafeteria goes dark. the Slack-style internal chat goes dark. Tens of thousands of employees in Menlo Park stand in front of their phones and watch the symbols disappear. It is the first time in the history of the smartphone era that a platform owner has used its full power against the largest social network in the world. 3 weeks later, Onavo Protect is removed from Google Play. By the end of February, Onavo Incorporated, the company Facebook bought in 2013, is being quietly shut down. But the documents have not yet been unsealed, and Pedro Canahuati's email is still in the binder. The reactions begin within a week. In Washington, a group of U.S. senators, including Mark Warner and Edward Markey, write to Facebook demanding answers. They want to know how meaningful consent could possibly exist when the participants were 13 years old. They want to know what the data was used for. They want to know whether minors were specifically targeted or merely caught. Facebook responds. The responses are careful. The senators are not satisfied. There are hearings. The hearings end. No federal charges are filed. Sheryl Sandberg, the chief operating officer of Facebook, is asked about Project Atlas in a public interview later that year. She tells the audience that the teenagers had consented, that their parents had consented, that the program had always been transparent. The interviewer does not push further. The story has already moved on. In Australia, the regulators take a different approach. On July 26, 2023, the Federal Court of Australia rules that Facebook Israel and Onavo Incorporated have engaged in conduct liable to mislead Australian consumers by marketing Onavo Protect as a privacy tool while harvesting their data. The two subsidiaries are ordered to pay a combined 20 million Australian dollars in penalties. The case against Meta itself is dismissed by settlement. Meta's annual profit by the most recently reported year is over 70 billion US dollars. The fine is paid out of one afternoon's revenue. Pedro Canahuati does not give interviews. He resigns from Facebook later that same year. He moves to a smaller company, becomes the head of engineering at the password manager 1Password, and stops appearing in public coverage of his former employer. Jay Parikh leaves shortly after. Guy Rosen, the co-founder of Onavo, does not leave. He becomes vice president of integrity at Facebook, the executive in charge of, among other things, protecting users from deceptive applications. In March 2024, a federal judge in the Northern District of California unseals the Project Ghostbusters documents as part of a class action wiretap lawsuit. For the first time, the public reads the words Pedro Canahuati, typed in 2016. It has been almost 8 years. By then, more than half the people who tapped the Protect button on Facebook in 2018 do not remember they did it. The Onavo servers are gone. The research app is gone. The certificate is revoked. But the technique remains in the literature. The lawyers who approved it are still practicing. And the company that built it is, by every public measure, larger today than it was when Pedro Canahuati first wrote the words, "I can't think of a good argument for why this is okay." In 2014, the founder of WhatsApp wrote a blog post about why his messaging app would never look at what its users were typing. He titled the post, "Why We Don't Sell Ads." 3 months later, his company was sold to the people who had just spent $1 billion buying a map of how every smartphone in the world was being used. The post is still online. The man who wrote it is gone. The technique he built his app to defeat, a stranger sitting between you and the person you are speaking to, quietly reading what passes between, is in the indictment files of a federal court in California. The company that perfected it paid 20 million Australian dollars on the other side of the world in a currency it does not use, and went back to work. A few 100 million people this afternoon will open one of its applications. This is a man-in-the-middle approach. If this is the kind of story you would have wanted to know about while it was still happening, the rest of the channel is built on that same idea. Subscribe, and the next one will find you.